I asked, yeah, first of all, I haven't been around for a while because my death was highly exaggerated. There was another guy named Bob Ruth, and an obituary was in the paper, and they just wrote me off. But the story I like to share with you is one of the highlights of my life, because I learned two things. I learned what it is to be an officer in the American military, and I learned what it is and how it is to listen to your coaches, because they know or don't know what's up. And it all goes back to the day, this is a long time ago, when Kennedy got assassinated. We were supposed to play the Coast Guard Academy at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we were reported to report to the cafeteria because we traveled in cars to go to Coast Guard Academy. 10 o'clock in the morning it came over the radio. Kennedy's dead. We couldn't move. We had tears in our eyes. But we were afraid not to go to the cafeteria because if we didn't be where we were supposed to be when Vieira said be there, we might be dead. So we went to the cafeteria and we sat there, and Ormrod came out and said, I don't think we're going to play. Let me call the Coast Guard Academy. And Vieira said, let him call. We're not going to play. And he came out and he says, they want to play us. And we played them previously, and if I remember it, I think we won by 40 points. So we get in the cars and we travel up there, and it was like the saddest ride I had at that point in my life. I happened to be in the car with Coach Vieira, and he didn't say anything. I actually saw a tear, I think, come out of his eye. We couldn't put on the radio because it was all somber music. We get up there, we enter the gym, and these guys are jumping around. They have music playing. We look at each other, and we said, what the hell's up? And we play, we beat them by, I think, 2 points. We go back and then we go to have dinner with them. And I asked one of the cadets, what the hell's up? The president died. He said, come here, he pulls me in the eye. And he says, listen, we're here to learn what it is to be an officer. We'll have our time and place to show our sympathy. And that was true. A week later, he was on TV marching down in Washington showing his sympathy. And I learned then what it was to be an officer in the United States military. The next day, we were supposed to cut the people who didn't make the team. And Coach Hope put the list out. And some of us had a little scholarship, so we knew we were on the team. Others were trying our hearts out to make this team. And one of us was a gentleman who has made headlines since by the name of Dave Beckerman. And he saw his name wasn't on the list. And I'm outside the office, and I overheard a conversation. It was something like this. Ormrod saying, Beckerman, you're never going to make it in sports. You don't try hard enough. And I think Vieira was saying, yeah, you're right, Coach. Beckerman made $500 million in sports. That's my story. First of all, on these away trips, I used to drive my own car, so you know where I was. Second of all, Vieira asked me to give me my most valuable player trophy from high school. I didn't know what he did with it. Now I know where it went. I was telling Coach, I was sitting next to him at the game, I said, I learned 3 things tonight. I said, the first thing, we never had a national anthem before a game. I missed the national anthem. Never saw the national anthem. I said, yeah, you're right. Second, I never saw a third ref. We only had 2 refs. I said, yeah.
Thank goodness for that.
And the third thing, I never saw the ball. The middle and move it forward. On behalf of the alumni, I want to thank all the staff, the athletic directors, the coaches, for how they got us to come here. It made me feel better talking to my fellow teammates and to see my old coaches, the guys who inspired me to get where I am in life, thinking about how they would do it. I thank them for that. Thanks for everybody for showing.
thanks Deb, Susan, and the whole coach for putting this day together. And it's great to see Coach B, Coach O. I thought maybe we called Coach T. Anybody go for that? Coach T work for you?
Coach H was not on Coach H.
Oh, sorry, Coach T. But one story I remember, I thought about it. We went to practice one day. Coach O says, we're going to the beach. And we said, the beach? We're going to run in the sand. And everybody's like, so we get down, and he says, you see that dock? Remember this, Coach? Run to the dock and back and don't stop. So we run down, come back, now you're sweating. Calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, get comfortable, the whole bit. Fun, gave us towels, came back to the school, ran up that little hill toward the old gym, wind sprints. We're dying, everybody's done. And then we had practice. That was a long, long day. Guys, you're right, remember that? But it was, I speak for all these players, that was a blast. Playing for Coach O and Coach B. We had just a great time. Won a lot of games. I remember those days like it was yesterday.
You made 17 to 19 in the dead corner one game. 17 out of 19.
There were twos.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story about, when I came out of high school, I was kind of like a point guard and I could score, but I played with some pretty good players. And when I got to New Haven, of course, Amrod recruited me, and then Porky got a hold of me and he says, "You're going to be me." I said, "That was a lie." But he says, "You're going to be like me." I said, "What does that mean?" "You're going to shoot the ball 40 times a game." So B and Topsy Delgado, who was at the game tonight, they worked with me, and they, the idea is if you can shoot the ball, you got to get enough shots, and you can score a lot of points. And but you got to shoot a pretty good average, and you got to have that confidence in the coaches that that if you shoot, you're going to score, and once you get the confidence, they're screaming at you to shoot the ball, And so I could beat a lot of people, but I wasn't used to shooting the ball. I was a point guard, and he said, "You're going to shoot," and so. Every time I got the ball, I'm going to shoot. If I couldn't, I'd pass it over to Jackson. And he shot the ball. And so that was pretty much how it worked until Liberatore got there. So what happened then, they threw 2 balls out there, but of course you can only play with one. And I became the point guard, and Libby became the 2 guard, and we went on from there. I mean, I still scored some points, but Libby was right there on the wing, and when he was open, he never missed a shot. So that's that quick story. But I got to tell you a story about when we used to travel. I don't know. Anybody hear the stories when we used to travel? We used to go. We hit a snowstorm once, and Coach Amrod was driving, and we were up in Massachusetts in a blizzard, and Coach Vieira was behind him. I forget which car. I was in Amrod's car.
Starting lineup was in my car.
What was that? The starting lineup. And we're driving, and Coach Vieira is behind him, and if we lost him, he used to say, "Who cares? I got the 5 guys, and I got lunch money in my car." So we pulled into Curry College at, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a soul around, and they're knocking on doors, and we finally got to bed around 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had a 2 o'clock in the afternoon game. But that was a classic trip. I think everybody remembers that. Okay.
I gotta say, Mel, stay right there. We get in that late at night, or morning, and don't you know, the fire alarms went off.
Oh, yeah. The whole school woke
And
up.
they did it on purpose, so we beat the hell out of it. We beat the hell out of them.
I remember that trip too. I remember that trip too very well. I was in the same car. You can see this far. I don't know how we ever got there, but he did Coach Umright did a hell of a job. But you know, I don't know what your meal allowance is today, but like
Oh, yeah.
$2.50 each. We used
If
to
we
stop
didn't
and
win,
eat
he didn't eat.
big boy hamburger. And we used to try to figure out how much volume of food we could get to this, whatever it was, 250. And so it was always a challenge. But you know, looking at the facilities that New Haven has today, compared to what we had, is absolutely amazing. And it's no wonder we could do, and the coaches could do what they did with what we had. Because the gym at the time, probably many of you never saw it. It wasn't much bigger than this room.
Not much bigger.
And the baskets were virtually against the wall. But the wall was padded, so when you went in, you played. And I remember I had hurt my knee, and my rehab was putting soup cans on my foot and doing leg extensions. That was the equivalent of our weight room. We kind of paved the way, and whatever else happened afterwards. But today brought back really great memories of guys I played with, coaches I played for. We had a great time that way. And I do remember one of the sayings from Coach B. And when you happen to get your name in the paper, he used to call it perfume on the paper. And when he thought you didn't deserve it. But, and he had a lot of other sayings that I can't even remember. But it was always fun. I played baseball. And Coach V won my trophy. And that was another thing. I won the first game for New Haven as a pitcher. And Coach V went out and bought me a trophy himself. His own money, had the black name. And he gave it to me the next day. But anyway, I later gave it back to the coach, and he had it at his home. And he recently brought it out, and it's in the display case. Yeah. I'm very, very pleased that he was able to do it. Anyway, it's been a great day.